And welcome back. As we prepare to turn the page on 2025, we're also taking a closer look at some of the top political moments throughout the year and what they could signal potentially for 2026. Joining us now to discuss, CNN political commentator Michael Smerconish. He's the host of CNN's Michael Smerconish and also the host of the Michael Smerconish program on Sirius XM. Michael, thanks very much for joining us. I want to start with the very beginning of the year when President Trump took office, the oath of office, for his second term.
I return to the presidency confident and optimistic that we are at the start of a thrilling new era of national success. A tide of change is sweeping the country, sunlight is pouring over the entire world, and America has the chance to seize this opportunity like never before.
So what do you think, Michael?
Agree or disagree with him, but he came with a plan. Maybe it was Project 2025, and this time, Wolf, surrounded by loyalists who all knew how to operate the levers of power, dramatically different from the way Trump 1.0 began.
And of course, immigration has been a very core part of President Trump's second term so far. We've seen the administration launch immigration operations in cities around the country, including right here in Washington, D.C. But it started with Los Angeles over the summer when mass federal officers carried out crackdowns at work sites and area neighborhoods. What do you think the impact of those initial raids has been?
So there was one in particular that stands out in my mind. It was last August, and it was one at a Home Depot where a Penske rental truck, you know, I've rented a Penske truck. Maybe that's why it stands out in my mind. Only in this case, it was a panel truck, and federal agents jumped out of the back. And, Wolf, there's been a practice around the country where homeowners go to a Home Depot on a Saturday morning and they hire day laborers. That was the one that said to me, no pun intended, there's a new sheriff in town. And I think it was designed to and effective at sending a message.
Another dramatic moment, of course, that shocked the nation was the assassination of conservative political activist Charlie Kirk while giving a speech at a university in Utah, Utah Valley State University. What did that moment do to America's political landscape, in your view?
It crystallized the problem that we have today with political violence. And I don't want to play the game of whether it's from the left and the right. I've looked at all the data. It comes from all sides. But we are living in an era of heightened political animus, and it's dangerous. And it was tragic on that particular day.
Very tragic indeed. President Trump's second term hasn't been without public resistance. We saw millions of people gather in October for the so-called No Kings rallies. What do you think those demonstrations told us about voters' views of President Trump's policies?
2,700 different rallies, 7 million people attending, if I have my numbers right. I think that's the day that in the midterms, you might look back, the one that was held in October. I think you might look back and say, do you remember that day when they had the New Kings rally? There was no violence. Everybody came out. They used humor effectively. It really showed a groundswell of opposition and maybe was a harbinger of the midterm elections.
Another significant moment, of course, in 2025 was the tragic shooting of National Guard members right here in the nation's capital, not far from the White House, in what investigators say was a targeted attack. The suspected shooter is an Afghan national, and after that attack, the Trump administration took steps to limit immigration. How do you think that shooting affected our country?
Well, that was as tragic, I mean, sort of a bookend to the Charlie Kirk assassination. And this one had a lot of elements in one, okay? You had a female member of the Guard from West Virginia. You had an Afghan national. And as you point out, Wolf, consequently, there were actions taken by the administration relative to immigration policy. There's also the issue of how the Guard troops are being used, whether they have enough authority when they are deployed. There were a lot of different ways that that event could have been interpreted. What we should all agree on is that it was one of the most tragic of the year.
Certainly was. Michael Smerconish, as usual, thanks very much for joining us, looking back and looking ahead. And to our viewers, you can always watch Michael every Saturday morning here on CNN, 9 a.m. Eastern. It's truly an excellent show.